Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are throughout the world. Welcome to another live stream from Inside Wire. And today we're going to be covering a bit of a long one, I think it's going to be. So we're going to be looking at everything that Ubiquiti have sort of released or brought out in 2024. And maybe if there's time or if it permits towards the end, then we'll have a little look and see what they're bringing in 2025. And by seeing what they're bringing, I want to know what your wish list is. So let me know down in the comments already if you want to know what's going on or what you think is going to be coming in 2025. I'd be intrigued to know. Now, we know there are a lot of leaked products out there already that will be coming. I won't necessarily be talking about those throughout this stream, but yeah, we can see how things go on, and we'll keep going on the live stream as we normally do. So let's jump straight into some of the chats. So it's been quite busy since we started. So Black Jedi, welcome. You were definitely the first one on the chat to start with. So welcome. So as long as you're here, we can definitely get started. So we're straight in with the requests, I guess. Only wish that they make an alarm siren, that we can make a home security package complete. I guess so. Maybe this is where a lot of people, I know some people want to stay within the Unify or the Ubiquiti ecosystem, but there may be some people that want to keep outside of that and maybe leveraging something like Home Assistant. There already has been a lot of that with the G4 doorbell, so that's definitely been happening as it stands, where they use their G4 Doorbell Pro to use the fingerprint reader or anything like that to be able to then leverage Home Assistant to basically trigger the automations. That is something I am hoping to pick up a little bit next year. I'm hoping to add in some Home Assistant automations within there. I very briefly played around with Home Assistant. I won't say I haven't played around with it, but it's something that's intrigued me, and it'll be a good place to bring everything together, as I have a few different ecosystems with smart products within my setup. So it would be good to see that. But yeah, I mean, some people do want a siren to make the home package complete, and then there'll be a longer list that a lot of other people want also as well. So yeah, I mean, definitely something that that you may want. Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Vasil. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream this evening. So we'll jump straight in. We'll have a bit of a chat about some of the recaps. I mean, last week we spoke about the AI Pro, and we spoke about the power amp. That was the main one. So the AI Pro itself was definitely an eye opener. I have released a video on it, and I'll tell you about that in just a few moments. But the power amp itself was a really good product. I think it was a really good stream. We had a look at it. We saw what it can and can't do. And yeah, I mean, if you want to check that out, that's last week's video. You can go and check that out. So Tom, you're saying we need a 4-bay NAS. I think so. The UNVR Pro itself is the same as the UNAS Pro. I can't say it's not possible because something might come in the future. I don't know. There's two things. If we find out stuff beforehand, we're signed by an NDA, so we can't say anything. And also, if there is something coming in the near future, sometimes we find out the same time as you do. So it really depends on what's coming. But we'll save that topic towards the end for a 2025 wish list. And I'm gonna quickly pull up my notepad here because I want to write down some ideas on here and what you guys want to see in 2025 from Ubiquiti. 4-bay NAS is definitely one of them. But I mean, throughout the stream, if there's anything you can think of that you want to see, and I apologize if I look to the side. I am trying to continue to look straight, but I have my screen right next to my camera, so I am looking a bit across to the side as I talk as well. So so definitely a 4-bay NAS would be, I guess, one of your wishes for 2025, definitely. So I'm going to take you across to the computer screen that we have here. So if you haven't seen it already, a video released earlier this week, I managed to get my hands on, and I have it right here. You can probably see it in the bottom right hand corner. So I have the AI Pro right here, which was set up, and I set it up with my Hikvision camera. So not quite a G5 turret or a G5 Ultra or G5 PTZ. I don't know, I think Clay over at DPC, he's also done the G4 PTZ. He's added it with that as well. So that's something that does work and works quite well with the Ubiquiti cameras, and the enhanced features within it, I think, makes it really good. But this, with the Hikvision camera, I was pretty impressed. I mean, these cameras are probably coming up to, I definitely want to say 5 to 6 years old, 4K cameras, and they still played pretty well. I would like to, I did say it, I think last week on the stream as well, I would like to put this up against the AI turret, but yeah, hopefully it's something that might come in a future video, or if there are any new Hikvision cameras that I can get my hands on, then we can go and do a test to this. So that's last week's video. If you haven't already, I am on different social media platforms. You'll see them down here. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm also on TikTok, and I'm also streaming on other platforms as well. So if this is not your preferred platform, or you're on another platform while you're watching this, feel free to drop me a comment. We'll see it pop up on the screen, and then we can go and answer your questions, basically. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and join my social channels if you wish to follow me. So we'll have a look at some of the stuff that Ubiquiti have. I wouldn't say released this week, but some of the things that have come about. So we have the holiday offers. That's something that I think got a similar sort of response to the Black Friday deals, and that was probably because they are the same or very similar to the Black Friday deals. I'm not sure if they have added anything else in, but we'll quickly run over those. I'm sure you've seen the website yourself, so we'll just quickly skim through this before we jump in a little bit further. So we have the Unify Express. Then we have some of the dream. So actually, let's go from the top. So we have the 2 cloud gateways. We have the Unify Express, and we have the Dream Wall. So that's something that's coming in on offer, and you're getting almost $200 off the Dream Wall. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's probably the time to get it. We have some switches on here. So we have these. Probably don't. Yeah, it does include the ones that are sold out. So we have the 16-port Pro Max, and if you can't see that, or you want me to zoom in a little bit further, do let me know. I can do that for you. We have the 10 gig Flex, the 8 PoE Gen 1. This was actually, I think, quite a good switch actually for what it was and the value for it. It actually did quite a bit, and it gave you PoE power out of it that you would have needed for powering a few devices. The 10 gig Flex, so this actually has the gigabit uplink, as we mentioned, and the 24 Pro Max. So you have the 16 and the 24 Pro Max. These aren't PoE. These aren't the PoE versions. So yeah, keep that one in mind if you are looking to buy them. Tom saying, sorry, excuse me. Tom saying they were really bad. I think that was general consensus of a lot of people, but sorry, excuse me. For those that wanted to pick up some of the equipment that's needed, maybe for other installations or for other things, then I think they got some really good values on some of the deals. Maybe their product selection might not have been the best, but yeah, I mean, definitely some of the deals in there and the prices that they were, I think they weren't too bad. So that was that. And then they finally, so we spoke about the AI port, and then they finally decided to throw some rack cabinets at us in the middle of the week. So one thing to keep in mind for these are that they do ship fully assembled. So they come fully kitted out on a rack, on a pallet, I would imagine, straight delivered to your door. They start at $499. So there's a couple of variants. We can have a look at those. So we have the 12U Slim. Now this doesn't have, this goes straight onto the wall and connects there. You can see that graphic that's just popped up there. I'm just going to take the chat away for a second so you can actually read what's in the background. That's a compact size. There's a built-in fan temperature for effective ventilation and removable side panels for easy access. So that's the 12U Slim. We have the 12U, which actually has a release on the back of it, which you'll see just there. So you can still take the sides off and have everything within there, but you also have the side that you can pull off as well. And then we have the big 42U. And if you haven't noticed, this is the US site, and the 12U is already sold out and the 42U is already sold out. So I'm not sure how many of these went into production, but they are at $1,400 and $600. I think the other one was. They've definitely got out quite very quickly out the door. Let's quickly go back to the chat because we've got a couple of questions. So, a question from Instagram. So, do the 8 PoE switch can be powered by PoE 2? Was that the holiday offer one that you were talking about, or if you're on about, let's have a look. What 8-port switches are we talking about here? Let's have a quick look. So if you're talking about the 10 gig flex, no, it can't. The only ones that I believe that can be powered via PoE are the flex switches. The ultra switch allows PoE power, but you don't get the full 200 watts out of it. You would need an additional charge pack with that one. And the PoE 120 watt, no, I think that also has an external adapter. So yeah, those are the ones that you can power via PoE. No PoE switches or any current cameras or any slightly newer APs. I agree with you. I do hear your thoughts there. There are people that are very upset that that's the case. I'm more of a glass half full kind of guy sometimes, not always, sometimes. So I'm definitely taking advantage of the free shipping. So if you haven't taken that already, there is free shipping on everything on there, and my affiliate link is in the description of this video. So it helps me out if you do decide to buy anything from there. So back to the cabinets. So as I mentioned, the 42U and the 12U are sold out already. Let's just move them away. So they're already sold out already. And if you follow some of the Facebook groups, there was some chatter around their shipping costs on some of these. They seem to be quite high with some of their shipping costs. Justified, not justified, I'll leave that for your decision, whether you wish to do so, whether you feel it is justified or not. So you can make that decision yourself. And there are also some accessories that have come with the racks as well. So we have the vertical rack cable management. And if we have a quick look at this sits inside the rack itself, and you can run all your cables up there and cable tidy them nicely. So that one's for the long vertical one, and it says the compatibility is the 42U rack right there. And there's a horizontal one which runs across the side. Yeah, which runs across the side. No, that runs across the front by the looks of it. Sorry, tell a lie. That runs across the front. Sorry, excuse me. I think I'm actually getting hit with the bug. So yeah, if I do keep coughing or I move away from the screen, I apologize. And then, yeah, that one comes with a nice cover at the front. So if you don't have the OCD panels, or if you want to hide the cables within, this is something that you can do with that. And then finally, we have some shelves. So it's not a rack without a shelf, because you can't obviously rack mount everything. Depending on what you've got, if you've got some of Ubiquiti's smaller devices, you can't rack mount them. So that's something that's always quite useful. And they come in, they come in shallow and also full depth. So you've got two different options there. And again, some of them are sold out already. So the guys in the US have definitely been spending this weekend or over the last week, and they've sold out quite quickly. I haven't checked the state in Europe. I don't know if they're still around or not. I know people from, I guess, Canada and Australia would probably complain that they're probably not even available there, but it's the same in the UK as well. But we have the option to order from the UK store, so that's always from the EU store. Sorry, so that's always a good thing for us. In terms of the rack, though, let's take a look. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So if we go to the rack cabinets, and well, definitely the guys in the EU store, either they've got more or they're definitely not sold out yet anyway, from there. So before we jump into the main topic, let's pull up a few more questions. So we have another one from Tom, which says, was going to buy a rack this week, and then I've seen the shipping costs. So that's what I mentioned a little bit earlier, that yeah, the shipping costs are a little bit high, and to some instances, like I said, I'll let you be the judge whether it's justified or not justified. Yeah, so But do let me know if you have ordered one. I'd be intrigued to know once you get one what they're like, because I'm definitely wanting to get my hands on one very soon. Unfortunately, this doesn't fall in the holiday offers, so there's no free shipping on this one. But it was worth an ask. But yeah, the answer was definitely no. So one from Black Jedi. So a 4-bay NAS. So that's already been, I think Tom mentioned that one earlier. Definitely a 4-bay NAS. So that's definitely for 2025. And an 18U rack. Okay. So something in between the 12U and 42U. I would probably agree with that. I mean, the 18U rack cabinet would be good. I currently have a 6U, and I have half of my equipment on the floor at the moment. I am looking to upgrade. I was in the process of looking for a new rack over the past few weeks, and then this came out. So I think I might hold off for a few more weeks and then see if I can get my hands on one of these. But I would definitely want an 18U as well over a 6U, because I think there's a lot more equipment coming from Ubiquiti and I need to put it somewhere. You'll see a little bit later, I do have some of the equipment next to me that we're going to be talking about. And if you actually saw the state of my office or my studio right now, you'd probably think there's definitely something going on here, because there's boxes everywhere. So a bit of an end of year clear out from me. But yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in terms of boxes here. So I'm just going to quickly, obviously I'm not going to remember everything that Ubiquiti have released over the week. So I'm just going to bring up my file where I have a few notes listed down about what they've got. If there's any products that you think are your favorite products of this year, again, let me know what you've found has been really good. We'll kick off, I guess. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the right window. There it is. Too many tabs open and not enough screens. So there's definitely a lot that's happened as I was writing some stuff down. There's definitely a lot that's happened this year. A year is a long time and they've definitely been busy. And I took a look at the first video that they released in January, and there was quite a bit on there. So at that point, I guess we were Unify OS 3.2, and that first point they introduced, I guess, user identity, which means you can set it up on your phone and you can get access, you can get cameras, you can get your one-touch VPN, your Wi-Fi. That's all in there within that first release. They also, this feels like such a long time ago, but it also feels like they just released it yesterday. There was shadow mode that came about. So I don't know if anybody set anything up like this where we needed dual gateway redundancies. The shadow mode actually allows you to do both, and you can set them up as a pair and then they fail over one to the other. There's a few videos out there if you want to take a look at how that works. The only thing I would say on something like this, I think, is the fact that you needed the same gateway. There's probably a reasoning behind this, which I'm not sure what that might be. But yeah, there was definitely a reason for them bringing out shadow mode. And I think what I'm going to do, just to make this a bit more, not interesting, I think a bit more visual, I guess. I'm going to go back to that video and I'm going to show you what was there. So if we go, I'm just going to bring this up right here. This was their insider video from January 2024. Yeah, let me show my screen here. But just before we do, we have a couple more comments as well. So Vasil says, I got 2 Expresses and 2 G4 Doorbell Pros. Yeah, I had to take advantage of the discounts and the free shipping. Again, I mean, even ordering those smaller things, the free shipping helps. I've definitely ordered a few bits and pieces, just a few accessories to finish up the setup, I guess, per se. So that's definitely worth taking advantage of. And I think the G4 Doorbell Pro went out quite quickly as well. So Tom also mentions he thinks the AI turret is such a good camera for the money. Replace my G5 Pros with the enhancers. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I have reviewed the AI turret and I think I have it somewhere here. I have it right here. So I do have it. You're probably wondering, why do you have it on your floor and not got it mounted? I did have it mounted at one point. I am slowly going to replace these cameras, all my old Hikvision cameras, with these newer ones. But it'll be a slow process because I want to make sure I have the products available when I need to do any comparisons or any reviews against these. Then they're easier to do when you have them in hand. So let's jump across back down to the computer screen, and let's take the chat off the display, and you can move me out of the way as well. So actually, yeah, let's leave me there. So you can see this one right here. So where are we? I'm going to go through this. So we have shadow mode. So this is what they released, where you're allowed dual gateways. So this is, I think this was the latter half of 2023. So I'm kind of cheating with this one. This was stuff that they'd already released. Unify Site Manager, that came about with this sort of setup. And when you think about some of the stuff that you now use probably on a daily basis, it feels like, okay, wow, they only just released this last year, or this year, I should say. And then we had VLAN Magic, where it allows you to, I think if we go up here, a little bit across, yeah, here we go, here's VLAN Magic. So this is Site Magic, site-to-site VPNs. That is something very easily click. You can just do a couple and away you go. You can set up 2 sites, a site-to-site VPN, as quick as anything. So that was something that was good. And then I think we had, yeah, I think we're seeing some stuff here around admin settings and change logs. So all some of the smaller things in there. Well, then they then sort of move on to the hardware piece, and I think this is where they released the Unify 7 lineup. So I think it was late 2023, so it must have been December, I think. They had the Unify 7, so they brought out the U7 Pro. They had the Swiss Army knife, so this also got released at that point as well. This was something that has Wi-Fi 5 on it, and it's something that's designed to be versatile in their ultra range. That's when they launched that sort of thing. Then they also, and again, I think I've probably said this about 10 times, but the Pro Max switches, again, they came very late in December. And you'll probably notice this as well. I mean, they've released quite a lot in the past 6 weeks. There's a lot coming. I want to say it's been longer than that, but there's definitely a lot of stuff here that's coming. Or that's come, I should say. And I think that was it, really. There was the cable modem, and yep. So the cable modem came out, and then the PDU. So the PDU also came out. Now, for the hardware, sort of, I was thinking it would be a little bit easier for us to have a quick look. So they definitely released the U7 Pro. That came. They had the Swiss Army knife. That also came down here somewhere. There it is. That was a good value for money AP, I think, they were using right there. It was Wi-Fi 5, but it was very versatile, and it's designed to get you over those scenarios where you might just need a quick access point, something easy and simple to set up, and something low cost. So that would have done it for you. And I think that was it. That was sort of the January sort of setup with that, and that's what they'd released at that point. Then we have the Meet Unify series. These are always a good laugh, I think. And then finally, they launched stuff around Wi-Fi, the 6 GHz spectrum. So that also came as well. Next, they sort of brought out the... oh, no, we don't want to listen to anything. So bear with me 1 second. Let me just mute some of my speakers on here, because we don't want to listen to this at this point. And if the sound is coming through to you, do let me know, and I'll make sure that's turned off. I don't think it should be coming through to you. I think the desktop audio is muted, so you probably won't be seeing that. So after that, I think, what do we have? Let's have a quick look. So that was very early in January. Then we had, what did we have? The intercom, so the access intercom. So I actually have one of those here. So if I flip this around, let's take a look. So I have one of these here, and make sure this is up right. Yeah, there we go. So this is the intercom viewer. These are actually borrowed at this point, so I need to actually make sure these go back to the rightful owner. This is I'm hoping to do a video on this at some point, so if there is anything you want to see, do let me know. This is something that works alongside this. This is quite a big box, and I have a lot this side, so hopefully I don't knock anything over. So that's this one. I don't know if it'll even fit in the camera frame as well. There you go. So that is the intercom as well. So again, another video I'm hoping to do alongside this. So I want to set this up and get this working. So this is something that they released, and these intercoms, if we take a quick look and we head back to the screen and we go to door access, we can see, here we go. So this comes in at $399, and it's designed to be used both indoor and outdoor. And the intercom viewer itself, if I can find it, I probably just passed it. There it is. That's $199. So the Access Intercom, this is designed to be used with NFC, the Unify Identity Mobile. It pairs with the Unify Intercom for remote access. So you don't necessarily have to have it come to your phone. You can just use the the keypad on here and use this. I want to say, I might be making this up, but I'm not sure. I almost want to say that I remember reading something about this being integrated with Unify Protect, but I don't think it's there yet because they wanted this to work with the G4 doorbell. Again, don't count me on it. I can't remember until I actually set this up and play through it. I can't be 100% sure, but I think I remember reading something about that. If anybody has read anything, do let me know. And yeah, that'd be something that would be really cool if that did work. You could get that to work and trigger some actions using Home Assistant to unlock the door or unlock anything else that you might need. So that's something that's they released it. I'm not quite sure what time when they released. That was about 9 months ago. Then just before we move on to the next one, let's take a quick look at some of the chat questions. So let's move back to here. So let's have a look. So Omid, welcome to the stream. Am I right in thinking Unified doesn't have predictable product release cycles? Doorbells aren't released. No, they don't. From what I've seen, they don't tend to have a release cycle. Not like, I guess, how someone like Apple or any of the major tech companies would generally do a yearly release. I think for stuff like this, there's a bit of longevity in terms of the devices that get deployed. You would want to make sure that you are at least giving it a good run. I think you would probably annoy a lot of customers, and maybe not so much the prosumers, but if you release something yearly and they have to go back and change it and update it, I think, yeah, they're gonna get annoyed at that point. They might tweak some stuff with some enhancements, so they might have a model and they might release a newer model which might have a slight enhancement, but yeah, there's nothing predictable with what comes from them. Thoughts on SSD versus HDD for Protect? So also 5400 versus 7200, starting with two 4Ks and 4 2Ks. So I've used this. I have a HDD in mine, and I think it's 7200 RPM. It's the WD Purple, and I don't have any issues in terms of speed. A lot of people do put SSDs in them, but in terms of timeline scrubbing, maybe I think when it's scrolling back through trying to seek the footage, it might be a little bit quicker. I don't think there's been any videos on something like this. So I know I did one for the UNAS Pro. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a little search on Google. I'm sure there's definitely something in the forums for sure. A lot of people probably ask this question. Let's have a quick look. So SSD versus HDD, Unify Protect. So there's definitely one video on here. Let me bring this across and let me show you the screen. So there's this guy here. I've not watched it before, so I don't know how much detail he goes into. But it really depends. A lot of people, I think the read time when going back through Unify Protect, going to find the footage, it normally only takes maybe 10 to 15 seconds for me, maybe less than that, to find the footage from maybe a few weeks back. But maybe that SSD will be a split second quicker. Maybe it's something I can do a video on if there's nothing out there, which one you should choose. Should you go with a hard drive or should you go with SSD? And yeah, see what works better for you in that setup. A lot of other people will turn around and say don't use SSD because there's a lot of reads and writes, a lot of writing to the drive, and there's only a certain lifetime that you have of the drive. I've also had people use SSDs in some of them, and yeah, I mean, I've not seen them die yet. Probably jinxed myself there, but yeah, I mean, they've not died yet. So there's a lot to discuss on this in itself. But yeah, I think it's definitely a video we can put together on this, whether you would go with the SSD or HDD. So yeah, I think you'll notice improvements to playback and how responsive the cover. Yeah, so Omid's just sort of kind of said what I said. Well, he already said it before I said it, but I didn't notice it. So yeah, that's definitely, depending on the value of the improvement of the playback, that's going to be the often thing. Scrubbing through the timeline, you'll see in Unify Protect with a hard drive, it works as it normally would. How much does an 18U go for on average in the UK? Oof. Now you're asking. Let's find out together, shall we? I saw a range of prices when I was looking. I think I saw a 12U, and I think I saw an 18U and a 22U, and they varied from a few £100 all the way up to £500, £600, depending. So yeah, I think it really depends on what. And these come flat packed, so I think you have to kind of build them yourself. Not all of them come pre-packaged and pre-set up. So if I quickly go back to here, let's just take that a second. So if we go down to the computer, this is just a quick Google. So an 18U rack, this is off eBay. So we all know secondhand racks can go for a lot cheaper, but if you were to buy something brand new, like you can see a StarTech one here, it's £520 off Amazon at the moment. Let's have a look. So premium 690, 547. That one's a wall mountable one. This will probably be the kind of one that I'm looking for. So probably would be wall mountable because I have mine on the first floor of a house and I don't want my floor to fall through once I start adding more heavier equipment in there. So yeah, that's the kind of, I guess, the price you'll be looking at. Here's 368, 600mm deep. So yeah, it really depends really what you're looking for. I think it'll also be the quality of the cabinet and the depth of the cabinet that you'd probably want to have a look at as well. As yeah, I mean, this 801 goes to £540. So yeah, that's the sort of price that you're looking at in the UK for those kind of items. So going back to, I guess, where we were. So we'd just spoken about the... Oh, I keep skipping up. So we'd just spoken about the Access Intercom, and then they released these two little devices. So let me bring these out. I have them right here. So they released the G5 Dome and the G5 Ultra, Turret Ultra. So these tiny little devices, and I still can't get over how small this is. This is tiny for a dome camera. And these themselves... yeah, I mean, if I give you a bit of more of a closer look at that, I mean, you can see this is tiny when it comes to a normal start. I'm not going to pull it out. I was going to pull out the turret camera, but I won't at this point. But in terms of the turret camera, it's definitely a lot bigger. And if I can see it along my plethora of boxes, which I can't, I do have a Hikvision camera somewhere down here anyway. So it's definitely a similar size to the AI turret. So if you have seen that, it's definitely a bit bigger. But this dome is tiny, and you can actually get an in-ceiling mount for something like this, which means you can hide it quite nicely, and it's quite sleek and nice when it's flushly mounted. So if we have a look at those. The Turret Ultra is $130, so this one is $130, and the Dome Ultra is $130 as well. They're both 2K HD cameras, so they're not 4K. So keep that one in mind if you do buy them. But the 2K image is really good on these. And I did do a comparison of all the G5 cameras. So if you haven't seen that video, it's definitely there somewhere. So I will go back to my... I'll go back to here. And if we take a quick look at all my videos, if we go back to the computer screen, so if we have a look at all my videos, I think I did one where I compare all the G5 cameras somewhere. There you go, that one right there. So I actually cover all of these in here. And let's just skip the advert. Let's have a quick look. So, I don't want to go down to the comments. So actually inside here, I actually do a test with all these cameras. So you can see them in here. And if you want to see what they look like in both the day and night, you can go and check that out. Yeah, you can go and see what that is. So let's just bring this up. So Ahmed just said that's my first time seeing any prices for racks, and wow, much more than I thought for a steel frame. Yes, you would be surprised. A lot of people tell you when you go to any forums or whatever, they'll tell you to look on Facebook Marketplace, they'll tell you to look on eBay, they'll tell you to look on any other used apps that you can find, because as soon as someone's used this and they're trying to get rid of it, the price seems to drop by like 90%. So you can actually pick them up for a lot cheaper. And if you're in close to office spaces, or you know they're refurbishing, or they're doing something that they're going to be getting rid of stuff, they go for a lot cheaper. So yeah, I mean, keep that one in mind. I don't know what sort of size rack that you're probably going to be looking at, or whether you want to wall mount it or you want a floor mounted one. But yeah, those are the kind of things to think about and keep an eye out. Shout out to the guy in the first related video that did a comparison to every Protect camera. Every Protect camera, was that? I think that was Clay. I think that was Clay over at DPC. Is that who you're talking about? So I think he did comparing Unify Protect cameras. This one in 2024. Yeah, he did a really good job on that video. It's when you start putting videos together like this, like a topic like this, where you have a lot to cover in a very short amount of time, you want to make sure that it's not dragging out. Oh, the hookup. Okay, fine. I've not seen his video on that. But yeah, I know his videos are quite good. So yeah, it's worth checking him out if you want to see every single third-party camera, or a lot of third-party cameras that he's got, and Unify Protect 5.0. But it's very hard to condense all of this down into a quick video, and I guess that's what he has done with this. It's worth, especially something like this, it's trying to bring it across and making sure that you get the most out of it without going on too much. So, which is probably what I'm doing right about now. So we'll go back to the topic at hand, and we'll go back to the computer screen. And we'll go back to seeing what we've released. So we got to the G5 Dome, and then we got to, and again, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit here because I'm looking at Ubiquiti's video releases, as I didn't cover everything of theirs last year until the second half of the year. So maybe next year I'll go back through my own videos if I do a recap, and we can have a look and see what they have and haven't released. So Unify Network 8.1, what did they release in 8.1? Let's have a quick look. 8.1. So I don't think there was a massive amount of updates in this. Protect 3.0 came about, which was facial recognition for AI cameras. Again, you've been using that probably for a little while now, and you've probably just thought this has just come out. or you feel like you've been using it forever, but it's only just come out this year. So AI recognition for the facial recognition, and the vehicle types and vehicle colors support as well for the AI cameras. That's only just come about this year. That could be because some of the AI cameras have only just appeared this year, the ones that fully support this. So yeah, that's something that's come about. And also the archiving. So first they came out with Google Drive and Local, then they did OneDrive, and now they do Dropbox. So slowly, it was an iterative process, and they've released quite a number of support for backing up and archiving protect data. I think definitely a feature that they need to bring in next is some sort of scheduling to that, so you can do it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. I mean, that could be a lot of data, so it also depends on your bandwidth, but that's something that would be good to have, I think, especially if you're storing locally. I think definitely scheduling that to go to a NAS that's offsite, not offsite, somewhere away in a secondary unit, that would be quite cool. So I think that was sort of around April time when that came about. Yeah, that was April 2024 when they mentioned that one. Then came about the Dream Machine Pro Max. So that came 7 months ago. Dream Machine Pro Max is the top Pro Max gateway that you can buy. Not the complete top in terms of all the gateways, but the Dream Machine gateways. This came in at $600. This, I think, not rocked the boat a little bit, but they took some stuff away and added some stuff in. So they gave you 5 gigabits per second routing with IPS and IDS. They took away the 8 ports of PoE and PoE plus power, but they also added in a second hard drive bay to give you redundancy. So with that one, that, like I said, they added stuff and they took stuff away. So yeah, I mean, it was a hit and miss for some people. For me, I'm running it at the moment. It's definitely a good upgrade for me. Previously, I had the UDM SE, which wouldn't be able to handle the amount of cameras I have at the moment. So at the very least, this is a good upgrade for me because I can now run all my Unify Protect cameras that I need off this single unit without having another NVR or a UNVR Pro, or if you really want to do it, or even an ENVR. So yeah, that's something that definitely came out at that point, and is probably definitely a good seller nowadays. So let's take a look at a couple more questions here. So I'd love to see it flush SMB every X number of days. It's definitely a backup tool, an automated backup tool would be good. I think a lot of people, not probably more so your home users, but definitely business users, need to have something off-site, or they need to take something away with them when they go the end of day with the hard drive, and that has all the backed up security data or footage on it. So yeah, I mean, that'd be something that would be a good addition, definitely. Maybe a Pro Max Ultimate in the future. I think we have to wait for Apple's next naming convention to see what they call the next lineup. Maybe the Pro Max Ultimate, or the I couldn't say what the next one is going to be, but it'll be interesting to see what they tag on that. But I think that probably would be 10 gig PoE plus on those 8 ports on the front, and maybe so we have 25 gig on the EFG, so maybe they would improve it to 25 gig. That'd be something that's quite cool. A wish list, an upgraded Pro Max version for sure. So after that, and I just realized the chat's probably in the way, we had Unify Protect 4.0 come out. So we had 3.0 in April, and then a couple of months later we had 4.0 come out, and already this year we have 5.0. So that's already out. So a couple of iterations, a couple of big updates that came from Ubiquiti in terms of Unify Protect this year. So in this one, let's have a quick look. I do love adverts. It's great. I know a lot of people will be saying time to get an ad blocker, but we can't do that. That hurts our YouTube revenues. So definitely not something that we would want to advocate for sure. So in Unify Protect 4.0, they increased the capacity of what you can have on your hard drives. So that was definitely something that came about. They had timeline scrubbing, and you can also add in shortcuts within Unify Protect as well. They had the option to change settings, multiple settings of multiple cameras at once. And it also had this floor pan design as well, where you can drag your main cameras to your floor pan. I think this is called inner space that you can do on here. So that was Unify Protect 4.0. And that's where they revamped the video archiving. Sorry, it wasn't in 3.0. It was in 4.0. And they released patrol mode for the G4 PTZ. So speaking of patrol mode, I don't know if anybody knows that this is the case, but have they released it for the G5 PTZ? I know they were going to bring it out, but it's not something I've seen just yet. I do have a G5 PTZ in the box next to me, so it's not something I'm actively using at this point. So I don't think patrol mode has actually come out for it, unless I missed it completely, which is quite possible. Another question in the chat here. So does Unify have Unify Cloud Gateway Max with an SFP port? It doesn't have an SFP port, unfortunately. It has four, not two. It has four 2.5 gigabit ports on it and a 2.5 gigabit WAN port. So if we go to the Unify gateways and we look at the Cloud Gateway Max, I am going to come to this model a little bit later, and I do have that sat right here. So yeah, we'll go over that. I have them all stacked on the side here, so that's probably not the best thing to do. But yeah, we can have a little look at that in a little while. But if we go to the design at the back, build features, yeah, you can see we have one 2.5 gigabit WAN and another four 2.5 gigabit WANs. And one of those can be remappable as a second WAN connection. I'll talk about this a little bit later because it is something they've released this year, but this was definitely a really good buy to get you into the Unify ecosystem. It gives you just enough to get you into it to be able to entice you to get to that next stage. And for $279, I don't think it was badly priced to be able to run all the Unify applications. So once Unify Protect 4.0 came out, we then were introduced with the U7 Pro Max, the U7 Pro Wall, and the U7 Outdoor. Well, what do we have here? So I think I don't have the Pro Max here because I have the Pro Max set up in my house. I did have a U7 Pro, I think, somewhere. But this is the U7 Pro Wall. And you'll probably actually see I've not actually opened this seal yet. So I did have another model which I actually reviewed, and this one I haven't even opened this one up yet. So definitely one I do want to install within another room within my house. So that's going to happen very soon. Are there any downsides to using non-Unify PoE switches to save a little cost? Should everything work the same? Let's have a think. So if you use a non-Unify switch, I believe configuring the VLANs, you wouldn't get that single pane of glass, basically, as they call it. So you would have to configure the VLAN specifically on that switch. If you had a gateway, for example, you could set up allowing all the VLANs through, so a trunk port through to your other switch, and then you can configure all the VLANs on your other switch. Whereas if you had a Unify switch, you could just very easily configure it in the Unify OS system. That's the disadvantage with stepping away with a third-party product, is you lose that single pane of glass. So you then have another piece of software to manage, or you have a it's basically you lose the ability to have a single pane of glass, and you have another piece of software to manage. My favorite stream of the week, an Inside Wire live stream. So thank you very much for the shout out there. And if you want to help the channel even more, feel free to leave me a super chat. It always helps me bring you more content, which I love to do, of course. This same, so yeah, haha, same. This ecosystem is all new to me, so I'm learning each week. Yeah, I mean, feel free to ask any questions on here. It's always good to have a bit of interaction on here. It keeps the stream moving and probably makes it a little less boring of me talking about the same topic. So yeah, I mean, bring your questions along if you have anything specific, and we can have a chat about those. So we have a Voltron type combination of UNAS and network video recorder. That would be a valid reason to use all 7 drives. Yeah, I think that was a big thing when the UNAS came out, UNAS Pro, or even when it got leaked a long time ago, about it being exactly the same model, just running a different part of the UniFi operating system. A lot of people said, well, it would be good if you could run a combination of the both. Hopefully, that will be something that might come soon. And yeah, who knows? There's definitely a valid reason for it, as long as I guess the CPU allows and the hardware allows both of them to run simultaneously. I don't see why it's not something they might consider doing. They might annoy a lot of customers though that have probably bought both. I do have the UNAS Pro specifically. I don't have a UNVR Pro though. So for me, if they were able to run both, I would happily. I do have a lot of media that I store, so I have a lot of data that is on my UNAS Pro that I do for these videos. But other than that, I have no reason why I can't add some bigger drives in and get some and be able to run both. Yeah, so that would be, yeah, I think the UNAS thing would be a good thing, but it would be a good thing for the prosumers. I think if they did do it, there would be some sort of limitation to it. So they'd either drastically reduce the number of cameras, or they would only allow you to have a certain number of drives, or whatever it might be. There would definitely be some sort of limitation. And I've just looked at the time now, and I don't even think, where are we? I think we're 6 months away, so we're not even halfway through. So I think actually I'll do a little bit more, and I think what we'll probably do is, what I had in mind is probably doing a part 2 to this next week. I'm not quite sure what day I will do at this point, because obviously this is a bit of a funny week this week, with a lot of people being off. So next Sunday is the 29th. So maybe possibly we might be able to do one next Sunday, or perhaps maybe something in the middle of the week, if people are able to join at that point, because it's always good to have you guys here rather than me just talking to a camera. It's good to have that interaction. Bought a UNVR with a G4 Pro back in January. Would love it if I can run both applications. Yeah, I think definitely there is a call for it. Whether they do it or not, that's going to be down to Ubiquiti. But definitely, I think there would be a lot of limitations if you were to run both on there. Whether it would be a lightweight version of UniFi Protect, although I'm not sure how they would do that. But yeah, I mean that's definitely something that might happen. Thanks for all the knowledge sharing. Thank you for the super chat. I fully appreciate it. Thank you. It does help, and it does keep the channel going. And yeah, thank you very much. So if we then go back to the computer screen, so if we go back here again, let's remove some of the excess chat on here. We don't need that for now. We'll come back to the chat in a few moments. So we did the U7 Pro and the U7 Pro Max, and then we had the physical security innovations. So UniFi Access 2.0. This is where they released the G5 PTZ, which is this little thing right here. So this is the G5 PTZ that they released. I did do a video on this as well. So again, feel free to go and check that out. There's a review video on something like this. I'm not going to open this up at this point. I thought I was going to, but there are maybe on the next week's stream once I've sorted out my studio, because there are far too many boxes. Or maybe that might be a stream in itself. I can show you how many Ubiquiti boxes I actually have. It would definitely fill up that wall behind me, that's for sure. That's how many I've got. So so in terms of Unify Access 2.0, let's have a look. Oh, wonderful adverts, as always. Let's just wait for this to pass. There we go. Let's skip that. So Unify Access 2.0 brought a brand new design on here. A new lock screen, new front screen, being able to easily unlock the devices. I do want to cover a little bit more Unify Access stuff next year. So that is on my to-do list. I do have some videos in the lineup that I'm going to be showing some Unify Access stuff. And definitely with the door access, I got it linked into my garage door. So I'm actually able to use Unify Access to unlock my garage door. And yeah, there's a few things that are going to be very helpful with that. This allowed you to have a quick look at some of the topology, and this wasn't the topology. This was actually who has access to which room. So there was a quick view here and allowing you to make some changes there. And this is the lineup, and this is where the gate access kit came out as well. Access Ultra. So this was the Unify Ultra, Unify Access Ultra. So this is for a single door. It's done by PoE. So you don't need to run a full Unify Access kit. Do I have the G2 kit here? I do somewhere. I have the G2 kit, but I can't see where. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So this is the G2 starter kit. So this is the one that came with everything within. Again, I told you I'm hoping to bring some videos on this. This has the screen and the keys and all the rest of it with it. So that's what I'm going to be hopefully setting up with my garage door to get that working. So yeah, I mentioned we had the G5 PTZ that came out with this, and the AI G5 Pro AI Enhancer. So this also got released around that sort of time as well. This was around 5 months ago. So we're looking at July time at this point. And this is also where they released Vantage Point, where it allows you to select multiple sites and see all the cameras in one go. So that was a really good thing. I don't think that's come to the viewport yet. I think a lot of people were asking for that, to be able to get Vantage Point to the viewport. So that's something that would be quite useful, I think, if they bring that in a future version. Sorry, excuse me, I'm losing my voice at this point. How about a middle of the week? I'm just going to go across to the questions. How about a middle of the week and the 29th? Streaming twice in 1 week? So actually, I was counting this up, and this is actually almost, I think this was my 9th stream already. So I was a bit nervous about doing a live stream, but I mean, you guys are making it a lot easier for me to do, that's for sure. So yeah, middle of the week and the 29th, maybe I can do, I don't think it will quite be, I don't know, maybe I might do a Christmas Day special, maybe, if anybody wants to join me on Christmas Day or even Boxing Day. So definitely something I might think about doing. Yeah, maybe I can complete something in the middle of the week to complete part 2, because yeah, I don't think we're going to complete everything this week. How suitable are Unify Access products for a home? Overkill. Looks a bit chunky. So any how do I word this? I think any device that has door access with it always has that little panel at the top. So generally the way these get installed, if I open this the right way, actually, I'll tell you what, let me move this here. Let me give you my top down camera for now. So the way these generally work is these access units here. So these normally go in a ceiling or hidden behind some sort of box, and that gets hidden away and then connected to your device. Then literally all your cables are run to, Sorry, I'm just trying to put this back so I can close it. Then you have a Ethernet cable from both of these on both sides of the door. So you have the light one side or a push to exit button. You don't have to have this light reader. And then you have this connecting into this. And then it's all basically controlled via this. There's two ways you can do this. Let me just close this for a second. There's two ways you can do this. You can either run it above the door or you can run it somewhere else if you want, within the vicinity, or you can actually go ahead and send it all the way back to a central location. You can, so some people tend to do that. They send it to a central location, and the reason I tell you they send it to a central location is because you don't need to buy that device. If we go to my computer 1 second, let's take the chat off the screen. If we go to Unify Access, some people tend to buy something like this. So this supports up to 8 doors. And this can be, for example, maglock that you can put in there, and then 8 push to exit, request to exit buttons and door position sensors. So it allows you to do 8, and then PoE ports for the access readers. So you can have 1 per door, and it shows you the design setup right there. And you can actually have a battery backup at the, you'll probably see it at the bottom just here, the battery backup, that you can make sure that if in the event that your power does go down, there is some sort of there is some sort of battery backup for this. Sorry, let's read this together. So access for home, if you include door strikes, the limitation would be regarding your local restrictions. Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, you would need to check with your local authority to make sure you can have them. In the UK, don't count me on this, but I don't think there is any restrictions for using this in home as long as the correct emergency exits and push buttons are put in and you're able to exit the doors. I don't think that would be an issue, but again, it's best to check with your local, I guess, your local council for your correct regulations for the new build, or you can have a look online. I'm sure there's loads of documentations online on this if you don't want to speak to anybody. And there's definitely loads of forums out there who are happy to help you with stuff like this. I'm not a expert in local restrictions, so I couldn't speak too much to it. Live unboxing videos. Yes, I've done one before. It depends what products have been released. So if there are any products that can warrant an unboxing, then yes, I would happily do them on a live stream. That's an interesting point. Yeah, I'll take a look at also UK. Right. Yeah, so yeah, definitely take a look at that one. How are we getting on for time? So we are just over the hour mark. That hour has definitely flown quite quickly, for sure. Let me just have a little look at what else I need to talk about and what else I want to say for next time. So we were here, we've done this. Yeah, I think we can almost cover that. Some of the other stuff that I want to cover, I think we can cover next week at some point. So yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, keep a lookout. I'll do something probably in the middle of the week. I'm not quite sure whether it might even be Tuesday. It might be Wednesday. I might do a Christmas Day special, maybe. Or I'm just having a sorry, excuse me. I'm just having a quick look at the dates. Yeah, you'll see it pop up anyway, and I'll post it on my social medias if you follow me on there, and I'll pop it on YouTube as well. So let's have a look at this. Is it possible for Unify and the US and USIP merger? Are you looking for a single platform for both of them? If so, I don't think that would probably happen because they're designed for two completely different things. The UISP is designed for setting up an ISP. That's definitely something that wouldn't sit within the Unify OS at this point. And I think there's different charges and different things that happen on the UISP side. So I don't think that would be merged at one point. So let's cover the last one. So we looked at the Pro Max. We've looked at the security innovations right here. This one's a big one. Do I want to cover this one right now? Yeah, let's go for it. So this was another big one that came about. Yeah, wonderful. We'll wait for the advert. So in this one, what did we get? So we had the Cloud Gateway Max. So that came about, which I have right here. Give me 1 second. I'm playing very carefully to not knock everything over. So this is the Cloud Gateway Ultra. For those that haven't seen this, so this is this device right here. And there we go. Let's take a closer look at this. So this is the one that has one 2.5 gig port on the back, and then 4 gigabit ports, and this has 1 gig limitation with an IPS and IDS on it. And then if we take a look at the Cloud Gateway Max, that's also here on my desk. Let's pop that down there. And yeah, this is the Cloud Gateway Max. So you can probably read that on the front just there, depending on whether you're watching on your phone or on a computer. This one has the 4 2.5 gig ports on the back and the 2.5 gig WAN. And I said, as I mentioned, they're remappable. So this device itself, and it has an SSD tray on the side just here. I think if I have, I need the device to eject it. I thought it was a push to click. But there's actually an SSD in here as well. There's a 512 gig SSD. So you have a few different options in terms of buying this. You can, if we go to the Cloud Gateway, and if we have a look at the Cloud Gateway Max, this runs all the Unify OS applications. So network, protect, and there's no limitations. You can't run one or the other. You can run all the Unify OS applications. 30 plus Unify devices. So if you have a small setup with fast internet, you can do 30 Unify devices and up to 300 clients. This device, I think, was a really good, and I think I mentioned this earlier, it's a really good step into the ecosystem. If you're looking to get your hands and want to be able to use all the different Unify OS applications, this right here is what you probably want to start with if you're looking to expand. The only thing I think anyone, or I said this in my review probably, is it's not got PoE. So you would need to use PoE injectors if you want to do a Wi-Fi access point, or get yourself a PoE plus, get yourself a PoE switch. That was the only thing I think that just wouldn't play with this. That wouldn't complete this. Sorry. There's a few different options. So you have the no storage option if you want to use if you don't want to use Unify Protect, or you don't want to record on Unify Protect. And then you had the 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte versions as well. Sorry, excuse me. So that was the Cloud Gateway Max that came out, and then we had the Site Manager where we had the multi-site setup. We had the multi-admin setup, so that came about with 8.3. We had the Update Manager, which allows you to look across all the updates at once. It allows you to do all the updates at once on different devices. And they also released the NATing capability, so being able to turn NAT on and off, and being able to map to different WAN IPs, and being able to change source and destination NATs as well. So that came about. So 8.3 was a fairly big update on here. I'm just clicking through this to see. And also allows you to do a more granular firewall blocking rules. So if you wanted to, you can go from within the same network, so you can block a device to device or device to a specific network. So yeah, there was a lot that came out in this update. And then we also had DNS. This was a big one, I think. DNS, being able to set up a I'm trying to get my words out now. So being able to set up your own DNS entries within the Unify gateway was a big thing, especially for me. I have multiple devices on my network, and yeah, being able to actually get your DNS resolution, not having to use a third-party one. There'll be a lot of people that do have a third-party one, third-party DNS server, but some people just want something that's built in there, built within, sorry. So that was definitely a big one right there. And you can have all the different options, the A records, the AAA records, MX, TXT, SRV, and forwarding domains. Yeah, this is the Cloud Gateway Max, and it runs all of them. And yeah, that was pretty much that what came out in, when was this? This was 5 months ago, which, let's have a look. 16th July that came out. So that was the Cloud Gateway Max. That was a big one on there. So we'll probably cover the next one, I think, or the rest of it on the next live stream. We'll have a look at some of the questions. So if you've got any more questions, feel free to pop them in the chat now, as we'll probably be ending very shortly. Reasons are because I can self-deploy UISP products and the Unify in the same line. Yeah, I see the case for it. I see the need possibly for some use cases to have it merged. In terms of me personally, I've not used the UISP line yet. It's something I want to start getting into, but not quite yet. So maybe when I get to that route, I might be thinking the same thing. But at this point, they're two completely different parts of the Unify ecosystem, and I can't see it being merged anytime soon. But again, stranger things have probably happened. It might come. Who knows? Thoughts on an Inside Wire Discord? I don't use Discord that often. I have thought about setting one up, but we have to start somewhere, right? So, I mean, if you guys want me to set one up, I'm happy to do it. Definitely something I'd be happy to do. It's always good to engage with you guys, and if you've got any questions, we can throw them in there, or any ideas and anything you want to cover on a live stream. Yeah, I mean, definitely we could throw it in there. So do let me know if you want me to set up a Discord. Yeah, happy to do one. I do have an account on there, but I'm not as active. But maybe this might be something that will make me a bit more active on there. Yep, that was a private DNS zone. You are correct there. Best place to have a sneak peek for early release products, hypothetically. I can't say anything. I'm signed under an NDA. I'm sure there are people that do leak products there, so maybe you can find one, but I can't say you'll find one on my Discord, unfortunately. Not unless I want to lose the relationship I have with Ubiquiti at this point. So yeah, definitely, as soon as I can tell you guys anything, I will be straight on to my social medias, or even on a video, or whatever it might be. It will definitely be there, ready for you to view. Is the Ubiquiti UA door lock worth it? Let's have a quick look. So Ubiquiti UA door lock. Let's have. I don't think I can find the door lock unless I'm missing something. So if I bring this on, let's have a quick look. So we have the door hub. Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about the door hub, whether the Unify access is worth setting up? Oh, the magnetic lock, maglock. Sorry. Okay, fine. So this maglock. So I've not used this one specifically. There are a lot that you can buy out there from a third party. Unify aren't the, or Ubiquiti aren't the first vendors to step into the door access systems. I like it because they tend to give everything, they try to keep everything under one ecosystem, so you can buy literally everything from them, which is good. But depending on the kind of maglock you're looking for, there's a lot out there in terms of third party ones, and they work exactly the same. It's literally 2 cables that go into your Unify access, as you can see right here, and it powers it up. So yeah, I couldn't give you a thought whether the Unify ones are any better than the ones out there. I've only used a handful. I haven't done a lot of Unify access deployments. I've only done a handful, and the ones that we've used, these weren't available yet. So we were using third-party ones. I actually have a third-party one downstairs that I have in my test lab. So I'm actually hoping to do a live stream on that where we set up Unify access together. So if you want to come and take a look at that when we do that live stream, that's on my idea list to be able to set that up, and we can set everything up on the table in front of me, and we can have a look and see how it all works and get set up. Yeah, so there's a couple of different options also within this. 600 pounds it holds, or 270 kilos, or 540 kilos and 1200 pounds. If I just quickly Google this, oh, not there. If I quickly Google this, so let's do magnetic lock. 270 kg. Let's have a quick look. So that that shows the Ubiquiti one. I'm not saying this is worthwhile buying, but I mean, you can see one on here on Amazon. But they should work as you would expect it to work, as 12 volt DC. There's a 12 volt output on the Unify access, so you would expect it to work. But if you want to be 100% sure, you can buy it all from Ubiquiti and keep it all from one vendor. So it's entirely up to you. A lot of people will look at that and turn around and say, no, I'm not buying from Ubiquiti, they're too expensive. Or some people will be like, nope, I'm buying everything from Ubiquiti. Would I get it? Yeah, I mean, for me personally, probably. Yeah, I think I probably would. Just so it's all from one vendor. And if I have any issues, I can say, it's your product, you guys support it. So definitely from that standpoint, it's when you start playing with third-party vendors, some things can get I'm not saying Ubiquiti do this, but I know some other companies in the past will be very much like, well, it's the third-party product's fault. It's not this fault. It's not that fault. So especially when you're doing deployments, I probably would use the Ubiquiti ones just because it's all from one vendor. And if anything goes wrong, yeah, I mean, it's all there, and you can tell them it's your products at the end of the day. That integrity, thank you. Thank you, Abid. Yeah, it's maybe when, it's not something, I'm not going to expand on that. It's not something I would generally release leak products for. But yeah, who knows? Maybe if you slip the right envelope, maybe you might see a sneak peek or the right super chat. Yeah, so that's, I think we'll give it another minute or two and then we'll wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. It's been good. That almost an hour and 25 minutes has gone very quickly. Generally, when I start the live streams, I think, yeah, this will be half an hour. This will be 45 minutes. We'll be done. But you guys keep coming in with the questions, and you keep it interactive and enjoyable. I guess, is that the right word? So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Joining me on the streams, it's always good fun. And yeah, we'll try and bring some, if there are any topics, again, I'm open. Maybe this is where that Inside Wire Discord will come. I mean, if you want to see any specific ideas or anything that you want to see on these streams, yeah, I'll be happy to accommodate and see what I can do. Sometimes some things are not as easy. Sometimes things are not as easy to do on a stream, and obviously doing a live demo, we all know what that's like. Things 98% of the time definitely go wrong. So it's not always the case that it will go nice and smoothly. Yeah, no problem, Omid. The streams are always good fun. how much does my setup cost? So I'm very fortunate that Ubiquiti sent me quite a bit of gear. So actually, it hasn't cost me that much. So in terms of my setup, let me just bring this window across here. Let me see what's on my setup at the moment and what I can and can't show you. What do we have? Yeah, okay, we should be good with this. So if I bring this up here, I can show you what my setup is. It's not anything elaborate. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's a basic setup, but there's not a lot to it. So I'm running an AC Pro. Those are built solid and they do a really good job. So I'm actually hoping to swap that out with the U7 Pro Max soon. So maybe I'll take advantage of that free shipping for sure. But I have a UDM Pro Max. I have a 16 port and a 24 port PoE switch. I have my AI port and some of the cameras that I tend to play around with on here. You don't see them, but I have a lot of Hikvision cameras at the moment. And again, they will slowly get replaced bit by bit. I have my Unify Access devices. So this is the original Unify Access. This isn't the G2, so this is the one I'm going to replace it with. This is the one I think I did this video like 3 or 4 years ago on this, something like this. And then I have a UNAS Pro. So that's my setup I have at home. In terms of how much it costs, maybe bring your question to the next stream. We'll put it into a basket and we'll see how much it all costs, because I don't want to know how much it all costs. I'm sure it's quite expensive. But yeah, I think that will be it for this evening. Thank you guys for joining me, and keep an eye out for your notifications over the next week, as we'll probably squeeze in a midweek stream and see what we can have a discussion about. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.